I'm a very good strategic thinker because, of course, I also worked in strategy consulting. I think one of my strengths is to identify where the problem is and to think strategically about how to solve it. And I think that's been very useful for my role here at Bending Spoons.
Thanks, Sumedha, for being here
Yeah.
and for sharing your story with us.
Thank you, Marco, for interviewing me.
Nice. As I was telling you before, True Millennials' mission is to ease every student career choice in the business field. And we do that by interviewing young professionals from the most important companies. We really believe in the so-called experience sharing. So it's important to listen to those professionals and to connect with them. We are gonna talk about your path and your story and your company, which is a very important company. And so I want to ask you, what brought you here from India? Because your country is India, and then we're gonna talk briefly about your past experiences. At the end of 2018, what brought you to Italy and what brought you to Bending Spoons?
That's a really good question. And I see you're digging into my profile. So just to clarify for whoever's hearing this, I never told Marco that I was from India. So he clearly has done his research. And in terms of what brought me here, I was working in India as a consultant for a boutique consulting firm based out of Boston called the Parthenon Group. I moved over to L.E.K consulting, but that was more of a company restructuring decision. I was essentially working with the same team on the same cases. And at some point, I wouldn't say I got tired of it, but more, the life of a consultant working close to, I would say 14 to 16 hours a day was really not ideal for pursuing any kind of personal passions or doing anything that wasn't just working, eating, and sleeping. And so, I was a bit burnt out, to say the least. And I decided that I would make a change in my life and I would move towards a career that helped me at least, I'm sure that consulting later in life also reaps huge rewards and lets you have the proper work-life balance that you need. But I decided that I would do it sooner, and I didn't want to go through the grind of, climbing up the corporate ladder when it came to consulting. So I moved to Uber. And I worked in a product role at Uber, and I think I kind of fell in love with working with products, and especially with tech products. It was immensely fun to work at Uber. I worked with high value products in North India, and it was amazing. And I worked to grow a product that hadn't been growing very quickly when I joined. And that was a lot of fun. And around the same time that I joined Uber, actually right before I joined Uber, I had finished the process for Bending Spoons. And I found out about Bending Spoons in a very interesting way. It was a friend of mine who was moving to Milan, and she heard about my life in consulting, and she realized I wasn't having fun at all. And she said, why don't you just come spend the summer with me in Milan? And she was about to pursue a master's degree over at the Politecnico di Milano. And I said, why not? And, I just, maybe a summer, I don't really have enough money saved up to last me a summer. So why don't I just find a job? And I was thinking probably waitressing or being a barista. But I just Googled English speaking jobs in Milan, and Bending Spoons was the first hit. And I looked at their website and I kind of fell in love with the company values and the culture that they said that they had. And I said, well, no one can be as great as this, but let me try. And I tried, and they really were that great. So if anyone's wondering, we are exactly as awesome as we look on our website. And yeah, that's kind of the story. So while at Uber, I got the offer from Bending Spoons, and I had a very frank discussion with my manager. It had only been, I would say, a week, maybe 10 days since I'd started working at Uber. And he gave me really good advice at that point for what I was looking for in my career. And so here I was in Milan in December 2018.
Wow. So you switched from a barista to a product team lead at Bending Spoons, basically.
I probably wouldn't have been a good barista anyway. I'm not very patient.
Looking at Bending website, some of the words that really impressed me were young, hungry, entrepreneurial, and disruptive. What does it mean being a product team lead at Bending Spoons, starting from the values of the company and starting from the daily values that you meet in your daily work?
And that's a great question. We have, well, all of us are young, I would say. They're very talented and innovative and creative, and they're always looking to have the biggest impact with their work in the shortest possible amount of time. So you know, they're very focused on making things work and being resourceful. And I think just in terms of the environment, I get to wake up and learn from and collaborate with individuals from all kinds of backgrounds who are looking to make meaningful contributions with their work. And it's a great source of personal motivation for me. So it's great to work at Bending Spoons, in summary.
Wow, that's nice. The story of Bending is that it was founded in 2013, if I'm not wrong, and
Correct.
the initial team was composed by 4 Italians and also, I guess, a Polish guy that then left, actually. And I read that their common vision, let's say, was to create a legendary tech company that builds products, let's say, used and loved by millions of people in the world, but also a recognized company among the very best places where to work on the planet. And I guess, like, so far they actually accomplished what their mission was about. Sumedha, can you give me some insights of Bending Spoons when it comes to key numbers and key data that we should know about the company and that make the company so special?
I'll give you a quick overview of our products. We have, we have some of the best products in the world on the App Store right now as we speak. We mostly deal in iOS, and I think we've made quite a big impact on the iOS market. We have a video editor called Splice. It's the product that I've been working on. We acquired it from GoPro around the same time that I joined the Bending Spoon. So it's been my first and only project here. And it's one of the oldest professional video editors on the App Store, also one of the most downloaded. And we have big plans for this product. It's growing very quickly, and it's seeing a lot of it's seeing a lot of outstanding metrics. So we're very excited to work on this product. We also have 30-Day Fitness, which is a workout app, and we made it free in Italy at the time of the pandemic and the quarantine, because we thought a lot of people would be downloading home workout apps now that they don't have access to gyms. And that was true, and we didn't want to charge during those times. So it's a great workout app, and it was the most downloaded workout app on the store since, I think, 2017. So that was a pretty big deal for us. And essentially, all our products, or all the products that we have, we also developed Immuni, which is the official contact tracing app of the Italian government, in collaboration with the Italian government. We are now totally out of the project. We have left the development up to the government, as we said we would. But all our work, I think the common denominator is that it's incredibly usable. It lets users do what they want to do in the easiest possible way. And also when it comes to just the sheer amount of computing power that the tools themselves offer, specifically when it comes to Splice, which is the video editing app, our apps are also quite powerful in letting users achieve the output that they want in the simplest possible way. So I'm always proud. Every day I work on Splice fills me with pride. Every release of Splice fills me with pride. So I'm always proud to be working on these products for this company, and actually to be riding the wave of tech during this time. It's quite exciting.
Later, I'm going to ask you exactly what your daily routine is about and what your daily tasks. Let me ask you, why Bending choose to focus on iOS app development? Which was the objective, and is there a motivation?
Initially, I think, we will grow to Android for some of our products, but I think initially the motivation to start with iOS was that we saw iOS users were more engaged with the products, and they had a higher purchasing power than Android users. And of course, at the time when we were just starting up and the company was, just beginning to grow, it was easier to develop for iOS than for Android. iOS had probably a couple of screen sizes that you had to develop for, while Android had close to, I don't know how much it is right now, but I think it close to 1,000 plus screen sizes that you have to account for, and people can increase the font size and do all manner of stuff on Android phones, which would require staffing quite a significant Android team for products that we were not sure at the time were going to grow. So I think the company decided to restrict itself to iOS in its initial phases. But as you know, Immuni is both iOS and Android. Live Quiz was both iOS and Android. So when we did want to achieve that level of virality, and we did want to achieve that level of, let's say that level of spread or diffusion that the app needed to enjoy, we knew that we had to be multi-platform and we had to account for both iOS and Android users.
Sumedha, so far, how do you value your your Italian experience? How is it for you to live here?
So strangely enough, and I'm going to admit this on camera while I'm being recorded, so please nobody come after me, but I'm quite ashamed to confess that I haven't had a lot of chance. I didn't take my chances when I had them to explore Italy. And in fact, the only time I did explore Italy was after the pandemic hit and after the quarantine happened. And then I decided, oh, well, I can't go anywhere else. So let me just, explore Italy. And it took me up to, I think,
Is it Bending's fault because you're working too much?
No. It's my fault. I took all my vacations to explore, Budapest and Poland and, you're like, Iceland, Japan. I took all my vacation days to just fly everywhere except the country that I was in. Maybe, it made me complacent. I was like, okay, Italy is always going to be here. So I can keep coming back to it and I can take my time with it, but I should go to the rest of Europe first. So I was doing, Prague and, Belgium, and I never really thought to do something here. And after the pandemic, I would say June, July, August, even last month and earlier this month, I was in Rome for the first time. I actually took the opportunity to get up and plan trips around Italy, and wow! I mean, it blew me away. I have fallen in love with the country and with the people and with the food. The food was the easiest thing, of course, to fall in love with. And I'm really happy. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy with what I have yet to explore about Italy.
I want to ask you, which is the thing that you value the most about your country, about India, and that you always bring with you? It can be a value or a particular tradition or something that really helps you and that you bring all around the world, and you bring also to Bending and to your daily routine and your daily work at Bending Spoons.
I think I want to say that that Indians are, let's say that Indians are very warm, and they make friends very quickly. And they don't take things too seriously. But I think I'm probably the first of the two, but I do take things very seriously. So that's one of my major flaws. I need my friends around me to tell me that please stop taking yourself so seriously, and life is not that serious. But yeah, what I really like about what I really like about people from India, and I think people in general, is their ability to be inclusive, and to really welcome people into in just generally into their groups and into their traditions and into everything, and just not to let uh, just to be the foil to things that are getting too serious, not to let me take things very seriously. So I think I actively seek out companionship that reminds me of how people are back home. And I don't think I had any trouble finding people like that in Italy. I think Italians are also very warm, very open, very inclusive. Uh, and I don't think they take themselves too seriously. I think that's what I like the most. That
I
I
agree
think
with you.
at least when it comes to culture, the most important stuff really matches. Also, the food is great in both countries, and the culture around food and family is practically similar in both countries. So, yeah, I think I kind of found a culture very similar to mine without even trying. So, I'm very grateful for that.
Always found a good connection between Indians and Italians when I experienced some travels around the world and I met Indian people. I totally agree with you. When it comes, Sumida, to selection, it's very hard. I guess 1% of the applications then become spooners, let's say. So
Yeah.
it's a very hard selection. Can you explain me the steps you had to undertake for this selection, and in general, which is the secret for this selection, and how did you the
What's
magic
the
secret?
master code? Where are the cheat codes? Okay.
And how did you prepare for this selection? Is there a method you followed?
I didn't really prepare, but I can tell you how the process was. We had to submit a CV, a resume, and a cover letter to the company describing what kind of candidates we were, and personally what kind of candidate I was, what I was looking for in a company, and what I thought a company could find in me and in my contribution. And then followed by that, if you passed through the CV and the cover letter stage of the selection process, you would be directed to a bunch of tests to test your aptitude for all the skills that would be required of you in your new role, but not in a very specific way, but in an abstract way. So the test would be an abstract test of the skills and the kind of reasoning ability that you would require to be able to fulfill the role that you were applying for. So I had tests in the fields of in design, in data science, and one more thing. I think it was marketing, and that was the I think also it was logical reasoning and a couple of other things. And followed by that, I think I had one standardized test, but I think that was just something the company was testing out at the time. I don't think they ever scaled it up to other candidates. And then it was followed by a quick check of, sorry, no, that came later. It was followed by interviews with, in my case, it was the co-founders. I think in certain other cases, for instance, if you're applying for a technical role, you would probably have an interview with somebody with the technical qualifications in the department that you were applying for. In my case, I spoke to three out of the four co-founders for my interview. And finally, I passed to a checking of my references that I had provided. So they went through all my references, they called them, and after that, I got the offer. So in total, the process for me took a month, maybe. Yeah, it would have taken a bit less, but there was a chunk of time between the testing and the interviews where I was moving from my consulting job to Uber and I was not available. And also, I think the co-founders weren't available during that time. So we couldn't schedule anything. But yeah, typically the process takes a month or two. In my case, it took a little bit shorter. Yeah, that's about it. There's nothing, I mean, if if you're good, and I trust that, you know, most of the millennials in tech today are really good, talented, high potential people. And if you really if you have the aptitude to work in an innovative company like Bending Spoons, you have a very high likelihood of getting accepted.
The curiosity about the name of Bending Spoons is that it comes from the movie The Matrix. The
Yes.
concept is basically that you can like through our minds, let's say, we can accomplish the impossible. Which are the characteristics that you have that really help you being so ambitious and being so focused on your work?
I'm a very good strategic thinker because, of course, I also worked in strategy consulting. So if I know what the problem is, or even if I don't know what the problem is, I think one of my strengths is to identify where the problem is and to think strategically about how to solve it. And I think that's been very useful for my role here at Bending Spoons, especially since, you know, during my time at strategy consulting, I never really had to think about the operations of it. You know, I could just recommend a strategy, or at the time, my consulting firm used to just recommend the strategy with very little idea of the kind of detail required in its execution. But when I came to Bending Spoons, I started to also view strategy within the constraints of execution, which I think helped me also in advancing my own tool set. So I think, yeah, most of my talent lies in communication, I would say, because of course I'm leading a team, and then it comes to really just figuring out what to do and how to do it. Yeah, in an intelligent way.
And Sumedha, you graduated in 2017, and now you're leading a team
Indeed.
of more than 20 people. Is it correct?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
How can you do that? How is it possible? Like, do you think that the culture of your company of Bending Spoons really encourages also these, like, young people can also be really important inside the company? The
Yeah,
age doesn't
definitely.
matter.
Definitely, it doesn't matter. I joined Bending Spoons when I was 22. As soon as I joined, I was never made to feel like I was too young or too inexperienced, and all that really mattered was the quality of my solutions and the quality of my work and how effective I was able to be at delivering successes one after the other. And that's about it. And that's all that they noticed. So it was a true meritocracy, and the company is indeed all the values that it says it has on its website.
Okay, Sumedha, can you bring me inside your daily routine and inside your job position? So if you had to explain in a very simple and clear way what a product team lead does, what would you say?
Okay, so I would say it's a mix of very good prioritization. You have to know what to work on at any point of time with the resources you've been given, because there is always more work than the people who can do that work. So it all comes down to being a prioritization game and in maximizing the amount of impact you can have with the amount of resources that you have. And resources include, of course, people, time, tools, all of that. You need to maximize your impact. So that really is that really is all a product lead needs to do. They need to maximize their team's impact, and they need to maximize the impact that they create with their product. So they need to bring more users to the product. They need to make sure that the product is able to retain these users and monetize these users. And they need to do all of this, and they need to grow all of this while making sure that they're prioritizing the most top, the items of the highest importance when it comes to the team that they have. With any product, you have to, at any point of time, you have to make a decision on because you have several areas in which you can have an impact depending on what you decide to focus on. So you have to make a decision that what you decide to focus on is the right thing for the product at that time. So for us, when it came to Splice, we realized that we were missing some features that users in the market were expecting, but we also wanted to grow. We also wanted to have as many active users as possible using the product. And at the time, there was a big internal debate within the team about whether to grow or whether to, let's say, add more features and make it more feature complete. And we did realize that our growth would be a lot more effective if we had more features. So our decision back then to go with developing more features into Splice and letting users create impressive and distinctive output very easily with Splice also helped fuel into our growth strategy. But at the time, the decision didn't look very simple. And it was, again, a matter of prioritization. Today, we decide to prioritize feature completeness over growth. And at any point in time, you can grow to a certain extent with the product that you have, but then you need to add more features or you need to add more product lines. And you need to make key business decisions to make sure that what you're doing today flows into the bigger vision for your product. And yeah, that was a key example of in Splice when we applied this kind of prioritization process, and we decided to go with features over growth.
Okay, Sumedha, a few more questions, and then I leave you to your work or to your dinner or to your aperitivo. I don't know.
Okay.
Which is the skill set that you acquired so far dealing with product?
A very strong sense of what it takes to be a good leader, and what it takes to be a good, let's say, what it takes to put your team's interests above your own, and then again a very strong sense of developing a product around its customers. And, not just doing what you want and not just doing what looks exciting for you at the moment. It would be great if I could build AI into Splice. It would be an amazing achievement, but that's probably not what my customers want today. So it's always, it's always let's say, it's a great consideration when it comes to being a product leader, or even, anyone working in product. The orientation that you start to develop around the customer is I think an amazing gift that working in product gives you.
When it comes to more technical skills, do you have some of them, or is just like your connection with the developers is just for you to understand what they're going to develop, but your skill set also comprehends some more technical skills?
No, not at the moment. I mean, I do understand, of course, I do understand how our developers work, but I don't write any of the code on my own.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah,
not yet.
Can you give me 3 words about Bending Spoons? The first 3 words that comes to your mind when you think about Bending Spoons?
I can talk about the people, because of course the people are the company. The people are nice. They're smart and they're driven, and
Wow.
I'm very happy to be working with all of them.
Okay, nice. On the website, I read that Bending is currently focusing on mobile apps, but they are constantly evaluating opportunities in other exciting fields. What does it mean, Sumedha? Can you tell me something about this about this phrase I found on the website?
Yeah, I mean, tech is an exciting field. And it wouldn't be, let's say, it's not reasonable to imagine that all the advancements in tech are only happening on mobile and specifically on iOS. So it just means that the company is open to high potential projects and opportunities in any area. It could be, web, it could be being SaaS, it could be anything. And yeah, we're open to anything. We're not a company that builds products for mobile. We're a company that builds really good products in general.
Sumedha, when it comes to team building at your company, how does it work?
I probably won't do them justice. I think our people operations team should talk about this. But just off the top of my head, the company organizes retreats twice a year, specifically for bonding, typically to an exotic location. This year, we just had one of them. We went to Bali in February, towards the end of January, before COVID really struck Italy. And there are always, even during times of even when there's a global pandemic going on, the company always makes sure that its employees' welfare is assured. So we have a lot of opportunity to interact with each other. We have informal conversations, and we have informal, let's say, games and events every week to help us keep in touch. We have access to, we have access to a catalog of equipment that we can order to have a workstation at home that feels just as comfortable and makes us just as productive as though we were working at the office. We have access to psychological counseling. The company pays for that during these times. We have Monday morning, let's say, stretching and meditation, in general. And yeah, of course, for people who join my team, I'm, as far as I can, I'm trying to do everything to make sure that they feel included, especially since, they haven't really met anyone in person. So yeah, we're doing all that we can, but really our people operations team is amazing. And their mission is essentially to make every Spooner's life as great as possible. So, I mean, everything that you can imagine, we probably have it. And so it's great to be working here.
Which is the advice for a student who is interested in bending spoons, really, really inspired by bending spoons and really wants to work for bending spoons?
I would say go to the careers page on our website now. Look for a role that you find interesting. If you don't think that any of the open roles are for you, still apply. And there's a general opening on our careers page for, if none of the roles you are the ones that you like, but you still want to apply and you still want to work with us, and we want to work with you, we're going to find something for you to do. So yeah, there's always there's always room in the company for people who are talented and who want to make an impact. So yes, we're open, basically. That's my advice. And don't hesitate. Please apply. Even if you don't want to apply and you need general advice, please feel free to write to me. My email address is sa@bendingspoons.com. I'm sure Marco will include that in the description of the video. And yeah, please feel free to write to me and to apply to the company as you will.
Sumedha, it was a pleasure to have you with us. Thanks a lot for sharing your story, and really good luck for your path
Thank you.
and for your career.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye. It was nice to meet you.